All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this step. And this is going to be a very, very important step, which is setting up your Google Chrome profiles. Now, stick with us here because for a lot of people who are new business owners or even just new to this entire world, it can be extremely confusing for them. And for some people, it can be kind of like overwhelming. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and break this down for you so that way you can understand exactly how this is going to work and you can be successful with this. So let me expand this a little bit so you can actually read this a little bit better, as well as obviously the guide is going to be available for you if you are a member or a student of this program. So that way you can understand exactly what a Google Chrome profile is very, very specifically. And then we can actually walk you through how to set it up. So a Google Chrome profile is like having your own office set up on the internet, right? So what's going to happen is that you're going to be able to customize when you create a Google Chrome profile inside of the Google Chrome browser. You can customize what you see. You can kind of have like multiple rooms all within for all of your different Google accounts, right? Now, the beautiful thing about this setup is that when you're traveling somewhere, and let's say, for example, you need to actually get access to your office, right? Like your bookmarks, you want to get access to. And when I say your office, we're talking about on your Chrome profile, you're going to have, hey, like I want to see my bookmark set up in a certain way. I want to see my Chrome extension set up in a certain way, right? How do I save all of those settings? The answer to that is going to be via your Chrome profile. And so when you have different Google Chrome profiles, depending on if it's for business or for personal, that's usually what we recommend. And I'll show you how to actually get this set up in just a second. And so that way, when you're on your work profile, you have all of your bookmarks, you have all of your passwords, you have everything set up that is for work related, okay? And then for the personal Chrome profile, you have, your bills to pay, you have your social media logins and all of that, but that is on a separate profile all within the same Chrome browser. So, hey, let's say, for example, you got kids that are homeschooling, right? And you got to have certain sites to help your kids go through homeschooling. Well, you can even create a whole Chrome profile for that, like for your kids as well, right? So you can have not only two, but you can have 3, 4, 5 Chrome profiles depending on the type of maybe Google account you have or the use case that you have. But the biggest benefit is just allows you to be organized according to the responsibilities that you have. And so that way nothing gets mixed up and you can just focus on what your work that you need to focus on in that specific Chrome profile. Okay, so let me go ahead and explain to you how all of this works, okay? So we have Google Chrome, which is the browser. Now, the Google Chrome browser is going to be the application that is downloaded on your computer. Now, obviously, if you don't have Google Chrome or you're not using Google Chrome right now, go out there and download Google Chrome if you haven't done that already, okay? That's going to be very important because everything we do is based off of Google Chrome, okay? So let me show you this right here, what we're looking at right here, right? So you'll see on here, obviously I'm on a Mac, you might be on a Windows, it just depends on what kind of computer you're on. But this screen that you see right over here, this is the actual browser screen, right? So this is the actual Google Chrome browser that allows me to access the internet, okay? So you have your browser, and then what happens is that within your browser, you're going to be able to have, you'll see on here, Chrome Profile 1, Chrome Profile 2, right? So that's in the red over there. Now, let me show you exactly where these profiles are going to be located. So it gets kind of confusing sometimes because you'll see that you have 2 letters over here, right? This letter, and then you have this letter, right? So the actual Chrome profiles are not going to be living in this letter here. They're going to be in the actual letter or the actual, it's not always a letter. Sometimes it is an image, sometimes an animal, whatever you select because you can actually change your Chrome profile picture. But the point being is going to be the top one right over here, okay? So when you go ahead and click on that right there, you're going to see this box, and this box is going to show you like, hey, you're logged in right now as this account, and it's going to show you some of your other profiles over here as well, right? And so what you can do, and we're going to walk you through the step-by-step of this, you'll see you can have a personal profile, you can have a work profile. If I go ahead and click on add, you'll see that it walks me through the entire setup of adding a new Chrome profile, so I can actually sign in with a new Google account, and it'll add that as another profile on there. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about the actual red here, right? That's the actual Chrome profiles. Now, this is where it can kind of get confusing, is because right over here, when I click on the other letter right here, right? So the letter that's over here, and this letter is going to show up whenever, let's say, for example, you're in Gmail or something, right? Let's go over to Gmail and let me show you what I'm talking about, right? So showing over here in Gmail, if I go over to docs, docs.new, you'll see that's going to show up right over here. It's going to create a new Google Doc for me, and it's going to show up right over here as well. So it's always going to be like this, where you have your Chrome profile icon, and then you have your Google account icon here, okay? Now, inside of your Chrome profile, remember, right here, I'm in the Adam Sharif or the John Doe, whatever. This is just a test profile that we have. So I'm in this profile here. But then this is where it gets confusing, is you can actually then have multiple accounts even within the actual same Chrome profile. So you'll see it allows me to add an account. So therefore, what it allows me to do, it allows me to have Google account 1 and Google account 2 within the same Chrome profile, okay? Now, this is where there's a little bit of a science, a little bit of a art, a little bit of a system, a little bit of a strategy here. And the reason why we're going to recommend to you to actually just have one Chrome profile for work and one Chrome profile for personal. And we would recommend not having multiple Google accounts within the same Chrome profile, right? So that way you keep it nice and clean where you only have one Google account per Chrome profile generally. Now, even myself, I'll be honest, there are some cases, if you know what you're doing and you understand how to set this up properly, where the strategy of actually having two Google accounts within the same Chrome profile makes sense. Again, that's completely up to you if you want to set it up that way. Again, this is just a strategy. We're just opening your eyes, planting the seeds of how all of this works. But if you were going to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to add an additional Google account within the same Chrome profile, you would do that by clicking on the icon that is the actual icon within the actual window versus the one that's in the browser, which is the top one here. This is the one that allows you to switch between profiles. And then this one is the one that allows you to switch between Google accounts within the same profile. Does that make sense? I hope that's not too complicated. We went ahead and created this diagram to explain it a little bit more for you. But our recommendation is in the beginning, unless you know what you're doing, keep it super simple. You just have one Chrome profile for work and one Chrome profile for personal. Have your work business email, which is either option 1 or option 2, your @domain.com or your @gmail.com, whichever one you set up. Have that be your main Google account. Let's say, for example, your work one, right? Do not have a second one here. And then you have your personal, and you're not going to have a second one here. This is going to be, let's say, your work one, right? So your work, your business email. And then this is going to be your personal email. So that way it's nice and separate. It's nice and organized. Now, with that being said, let's go and walk you through the exact step-by-step on how to actually create a Google Chrome profile. Okay, so again, what you're going to do is this Chrome profile that we're going to walk you through, we would recommend setting it up for your business. What you're going to do is you're going to click on the icon that is above there. Okay, you then go ahead and click on add, and this is going to walk you through the exact step-by-step of actually creating a new Chrome profile. You're going to go ahead and click on sign in. And then when you click on sign in, it's going to walk you through the entire sign in process. Now, what you're going to do in this sign in process is you are going to go and decide if you're making this for your personal or you're making this for your business. If it's for your business, you're going to go ahead and actually log in here with your business email. Okay, whatever your business email is, if whether you decided to go the @domain route or you went with the @gmail route, you're going to go ahead and sign in there and you're going to proceed. And what it's going to do, and let me X this out, you're not going to X this out, you're going to proceed. I'm just going to go ahead and X out for the sake of the example here, is that what's going to happen is you're going to show up, once you go through that entire process, you're going to have an additional profile that's going to show up when you click on the icon that is above there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and click on this cog icon so you can see what's happening here is that you'll see that I have multiple different profiles in here, right? Now, in my case, I have show on startup turned off because it's kind of annoying for this to show up on startup every single time. It's up to you if you want this to show up, so you can actually select like, hey, I want to go to my personal profile right now. I want to go to my work profile right now. I want to go to my, in this case, you're not going to have a demo profile, but imagine it's like, hey, I want to go to my kids' homeschooling profile right now. So this is what's going to allow you to be able to switch between all of them. And then the cool thing is that whatever profile you are logged into, it's automatically going to have all of your Gmail, your Google Calendar, like your bookmarks, everything is going to be loaded up into the actual profile that you have already loaded. Now, with that being said, in the actual guide for this training, we do have some additional kind of process that you can go through and look at this, right? So it walks you through like, hey, you can click on the plus button, you can sign in, you can switch between different profiles, you can switch between once you're inside of the browser. All of that is documented inside of the actual guide for this training section, but most of it I've already gone ahead and walked you through, but it is there available for your reference if you need it. And if you're still confused on anything that we said, because I know initially if you're not used to this, if you don't understand how this works, this is your first exposure to Google Chrome profiles and organizing all of this, it's very important. But if you got confused, I want to go ahead and remind you, please be resourceful. There are some amazing YouTube videos that are out there that are going to walk you through. Like just go ahead and type into YouTube, right? Type into YouTube and just type in Google Chrome profiles explained, or go ahead and type in Google Chrome profiles setup or how to set up Google Chrome profiles, right? If you type that in, I promise you're going to find some amazing resources with high production quality that will explain it to you in 1,002 different ways. And then on top of that, remember, this is a community. And so if this was easy for you to set up, if this is like, oh man, this is kind of basic ABCs, well, hey, there's other people who are in this journey who are going to be better at things than you are. And for them, this wasn't ABC, but something else is ABC that you're going to need help with. with. And so that's the reason why we say that there's no guru on the mountain. We are just walking you through and teaching you the things that we have learned from our own experiences, as well as learned from other peers in the community. And so we're all supporting each other on this mountain over here. And so as you give, as you ask, you have to make sure that you give as well. Okay. So this is a community. Make sure that you are going ahead and sharing with other people and helping other people throughout this process. So if you do get confused, make sure you first try and be resourceful, and then also ask in the community. And then whatever you learn, let's say you learn something new, go ahead and share that in the community. Or if maybe this wasn't the best way, whatever we talked about here, if you do have some feedback on how we can adjust these trainings to make them even more relevant. If you find like, you know what, Yasin, I know how to do this, and this wasn't the best way that you could have explained it. I would have done it this way. It's a little bit better. Go ahead and share that in the community. That's going to be very helpful, not only for us, but also making sure that that's helpful for the other new business owners and students in the program. Okay, so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the step-by-step tutorial on what is a Google Chrome profile, how to set up Google Chrome profiles, how to log into Google Chrome profiles, as well as walking you through how it actually works with Google Chrome profiles and multiple Google accounts. Within that, go out there, set it up, make sure you have it. This is very important. Make sure you have this, because we're going to be relying on this, and you're going to basically start doing all of your work. What's going to be setting up your website, your corporation, your link tree, your all of this stuff, your business email sending options, all of that, your business platform is going to happen within your Google Chrome profile that you have created for work going forward. Okay, so this is very important. Make sure that you actually go ahead and set this up properly, so that way we can go ahead and piggyback off of this for the rest of the entire course. We will catch you in the next training.